Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce lab by Ecomcy, the place where everything related to Amazon FBA private level and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, your host, founder, and CEO of Ecomcy. And today we bring you another special guest. His name is Norman Farrar, aka the Bird Guy. And he's actually an amazing guy in the space. I mean, he does so many things, and he's actually the founder and CEO of an amazing PR company, which they also specialize in the commerce space. And I'm sure Norm can give us a little bit of background on that as well. But lately, one of the biggest success he's been contributing to the Amazon space specifically is his podcast, Lunch with Norm, which I'm sure everybody that's listening to this podcast has at least heard one of his amazing episodes. And we're also going to be touching about some of his, experience when it comes to influencer marketing, which I'm sure Nomis is very excited to share today because I know it's one of the projects that we actually always talk when we meet at different conferences, and I'm sure that is going to provide a ton of insights and strategies to everybody turning on today's episode. So, Norm, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show. How you doing, my friend?
It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, thank you. For me, it's also a pleasure. And as I told you, actually, I told you this in person. I've been following, your content for a while now, and the content you put there is top notch. Like the best people in the space, the strategies, and everything that you actually do with your companies as well. And I think today is gonna be an episode packed with a ton of value, especially on the topic that we're gonna be touching today, which is influencer marketing. In fact, before we went live, we were talking about how everybody's talking about influencer marketing, how important it is to do external traffic. But let's be honest, not a lot of people really know how to do it correctly. And I'm sure today you're going to share a lot of things that you've been seeing in terms of trends, strategies, and tips, and so on. Now, before we jump into that, though, I know that for those living under a rock that maybe don't know who is Norm, I just want to take a few minutes so you can tell us a little bit about who is Norm, a little bit of background in terms of your e-commerce experience and your companies, and then we jump into the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very good. So my background goes way back, way back. A matter of fact, I think one of the reasons I started getting into ecom was uh, back in the days of CD Now. Probably,
Wow.
probably nobody remembers CD Now, but
No.
I read that book on how they were, making money on the internet, and I went, "Wow, this is something that could be really cool."
Hmm.
I went back. I had no idea at that time. It was like bulletin boards, BBS,
Hmm.
and you would upload things. Anyways, that's all old stuff. That's going to bore people. Um, where everything started to happen was when I had this promotions company with a partner and I. It was in hyper growth. It grew very quickly, and I had to get to understand systems and automation, which I did through Michael Gerber's eMyth Academy. So
Okay.
it allowed me to systemize everything. And then the second thing that came out of that was vertical integration,
Okay.
where you bought the company to keep control. So we had a promotions company, which ended up becoming an e-commerce company, but it was in buying the embroidery company, buying the screening company, buying the couriers, buying the fulfillment, and just kind of having that control. And which led us to actually building everything. I always talk about perception, perceived value, and that's where that came from. So move that along during this promotional experience that I had, this company, this hyper growth company. We were dealing with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and
Okay.
um, one of these companies wanted a e-commerce company. So
Mm.
it's funny because I look at this quote that Richard Branson says, Sir Richard Branson, and he says, if oh my gosh, I can't believe I forget it. But it's if anybody asks you if an opportunity comes up,
Yes, I know the one you're saying.
you know the
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so
basically is like if the opportunity arises and you don't know how to do it, say yes, and then you're gonna figure out along the way how to do it.
exactly, that's
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
I kind of live my life by that. I can't believe I blew that one. But I just said, yeah, I can do that when they asked. Um, and then we launched it. I hired some people out in India. They got it done for me, and I just got known as the guy that did these websites for these
Wow.
Fortune
I
500
see.
company, and that's how I got launched into it. And then we ended up creating one of the first, like I'm talking, one of the first 5 print on demand companies
Mm,
for logo and brand creation, which back in the day I outsourced to India. This is back in the 90s. They
okay.
do logo creation, and then we linked up to a printing company that would do business cards, letterhead, all that stuff.
Mhm.
um, Now we can just move forward. I got uh, involved with a family company. My dad called me because he knew we were dealing a lot in China, and he said, "Hey, how would you like to get together and do a contract manufacturing company?" I got an
I see.
idea. Let's open up a couple of companies in Taiwan, or buy a couple of companies in Taiwan, and we just went from there. Then we ended up selling that company. I went to a an Amazon event, ASM, I think it was 3 or 4,
Okay.
and that started it.
You
That's
fell in
it.
love.
Yeah, there we go. So I don't know. It's actually I think Amazon and I have been in love, divorced several times.
Yeah.
It's really is a love hate relationship. But yeah, I got involved with that, and then the companies kind of followed after that.
Wow. What a journey. Yeah. I think, I mean, first of all the different areas that you touched throughout this journey, I think are super important because now that you're basically one of the experts in the Amazon field, I think that gave you so much advantage on top of other people that just entering the space because I feel like, let's be honest, a lot of people in the Amazon space, most of them, when they enter the Amazon space, they enter this bubble, but they don't have really the experience for other areas that we know affect your Amazon business, but we always get caught on the simplicity like PPC, listings, and all that. We don't focus on the bigger picture, which is, trading, the business side of things, and all of that. And I'm pretty sure that having that background gave you a ton of extra. Basically advantage when you jump in the space, right? In the Amazon space.
Oh, yeah, I like I said, I talk about perception, and
Hmm.
one of the things that I didn't get into, but we did have another area of expertise, and that was packaging. So
Okay.
going and being a contract manufacturer, we were able to create different types of packaging for other private label brands back in the day. So that's something that I know, uh, and we've talked about it. But you could take a product, this coffee mug, where everybody else is selling it for $2 on Amazon. You can sell it for $8 or $10, and it
Mhm.
comes down strictly to packaging.
Yeah.
Your perception, the little things that you do, the customer experience, and that's what most Amazon sellers forget about when they come out at the beginning. They try to come out at what I call the bottom tier, the
Mm.
product cannibalizers. They just
Yeah.
want to get sales, but they don't realize if they do just a few things differently, they can still have the traffic and have profit.
Yeah. I know. I know. I think the issue is like, unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of the content you're gonna find out there, especially evergreen old content, they focus on the same strategy. Go to Alibaba, stick a logo, put it on Amazon, and call it a brand. And we know those days are over. And I always mention this on every single episode that I can because I feel that's one of the reasons. Let's be honest, that sometimes has provided a bad stigma to the Amazon space because a lot of people is doing that, and they're not really thinking about branding, as you said, the packaging, the customer experience, and so on, and they get stuck into the pricing to the bottom war, which, let's be honest, most of the time you're not gonna win, right?
That's it.
That's it. So now, let's bring the conversation of influencer marketing because influencer marketing, I'm also like somebody that puts a lot of emphasis on this, is super important nowadays on Amazon because we all know that PPC is getting each day more expensive.
Yep.
And on top of that, if you only rely on the traffic that Amazon gives you and everybody's doing the same on the platform, sometimes if your product is not really doesn't have a big differentiating factor, which again is that's another red flag that you should be making sure is solved from the very beginning. You're gonna struggle. And influencer marketing, I think, can help you, have that extra edge, especially because you can create the community, this ambassador that try for you with their family, with their friends, and you can create this really presence on other platform that can bring you evergreen content. And we know Amazon loves that. So tell me a little bit about what you've been doing with that and your experience and some of the results you've been seeing. Yeah.
Sure. Well, first of all, I it's so hard to believe that like I'll go to an event and I'll talk about influencer marketing,
Yeah.
and I'll ask the audience, do you use Amazon Live or influencers? And generally, it's no.
Yeah.
And if they are, they're using it not effectively.
Or did
So
it once.
yeah,
That's
they
it.
did it once, it didn't work. I went to somebody, and then you dig deeper into it, and they do it on the cheap, and they don't understand why it didn't work. Or you can do it on the cheap, but you have to do a lot of influencers, get a lot of
Hmm.
influencers to get the product out there. So does it work? Let me give you two case studies. Snow teeth whitener.
Hmm.
We had them on the podcast, and anyways, Brenda, one of the I believe one of the owners there, they only did influencers, nothing else, only
Wow.
influencer marketing,
Interesting. Yeah.
and they sold their business for $100 million.
Wow.
But they ended up using guys like Gronk and Conor McGregor.
Hmm.
So then the other guy that was on the podcast was Joe Martin. He had not Itsy Box, Boxy Charm,
Okay.
and he sold his company recently to Itsy. Uh, Only 100%, 100% influencers,
Crazy.
$500 million.
Crazy. Wow. Wow.
So now those are two home runs. Can you do that? Absolutely, you can do that. I always like kind of blitz marketing where you use multiple external
Yeah.
channels, but influencer marketing is there, and there's so many different opportunities. So when we were in Mexico together, there was a company, WTI.
Mm.
They have everything that you need at a very affordable price to go live with their whole network of influencers. So that's one thing, the influencer network companies, where you could just go choose an influencer, not do really too much work, and they'll get you up running. They write the scripts, and off you go. And then at the end, which is important, is who owns the content. So we'll come
Hmm.
back to that in a second, but that's so important. Uh,
Yeah.
but just having the ability to say, oh, here's my product, check it out, and you basically hire them to go live or to do some sort of video or even written content depending on the company. So there's companies out there like WTI. Then you have the other network companies that will you still have to find the influencer. So these are companies like a Billow.
Hmm.
Billow is a company that I use all the time, and I tell them what I want. This is the
Okay.
campaign that I want, and then they start applying. So if I'm just doing it for free, or if I'm doing $20, I see what type of influencer that I want. And there's really 5 types of influencers, and I only use the bottom 2, nano and micro. Nano is under 10,000, micro is under 100,000 followers.
Hmm.
Anything above that, like the macro, what's the next one? Uh, Macro, and then
Yeah.
anyways, it goes up to
The big
celebrity.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't find them very useful. So I
Yeah.
can go out there, I can get all these nano influencers, and by all these, I'm talking about 10, 20, 30 of these influencers
Hmm.
to go out on uh, their their network. And the reason for that is people trust those people.
Yeah.
So oh, what is my dog giving me? Okay, what do you got? Oh, he's got my sock. All right.
That's good.
Thank you, Dallas. So, so he brought me a raw egg the other day. Like he had an
Wow.
egg in his mouth. I don't know where he got it from, But anyways, Dallas the Dumb, he's making a cameo.
Yeah.
So, but going to these smaller influencers, first of all, they're just getting started. They have a small following, a lot of friends and family. If they say that
Mm,
they like something, people will, oh yeah, they understand. Like this is where the trust is. The further you go up that ladder, those 5 different types, the less people trust. Okay, or
mm,
the less engaged they'll be on it. The other thing about these smaller types of influencers, if
yes.
they do a good job and they like the product, you might be able to convert that into a brand ambassador.
That's
So
right.
the difference between an influencer, a brand ambassador is an influencer, but a brand ambassador actually either there's 2 types. Some companies with a good budget will pay for brand
Yeah.
ambassadors, but a lot of smaller brands will give heavy discounts to a brand ambassador because they
Okay.
love your product and they just want to they want to promote the product. Maybe it's a beauty line and they want to buy your product over and over again, but they get a huge discount when they provide material. Plus, the material that they're providing you, the different assets they'll be providing you, they go under contract with you. So
Okay.
it's not like a typical one and done
I
influencer.
see. Yeah.
So
In fact,
that
I wanted to ask you about this. Like, I'm sure people have this question now because they say, yes, of course, I can find the 20, 30 influencers and get started with this. But people may ask, like, how frequently I should be doing this? Like, and what I mean by this, like, should I be going live once per day, twice per week, 3 times per week, or like, what is usually? I know this is gonna vary significantly on your budget and so on, but I'm sure based on all the tests you've been doing so far, maybe you can give us some guidelines about what is the bare minimum to really, that's the minimum you should be putting into to really start seeing some results, right?
so
In terms
that's
of revenue.
even that's a fairly broad question because you're getting your influencer. So uh, when you're going and hiring an influencer to
Yeah.
get you user generated content, that's one thing. When you're going on to Amazon and going Amazon Live, that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. So you can definitely hire an influencer to do Amazon Live, or
Mm-hmm.
you can just pick up the phone and do it
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And if
Yeah.
you do Amazon Live yourself, it's a different type of format. You can just go on and talk about the brand, your brand. And
Sure.
the reason it's so powerful is when you go live, an Amazon Live influencer will either take you and put you as part of their event or their live, or they'll do a full segment on you.
Yeah.
And that could last for an hour. It could last for hours.
Mm-hmm.
When you go live, you don't have to do it you can do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If you do it an hour, that's awesome. But people get to see your passion. You're the
Yeah.
brand owner. Why did you
Mm-hmm.
do it? You can ask simple questions and answer simple questions about the benefits of your product, why you did this. Like for us, one of our products is soap, and one of the organizations we donate to is a third world country, or it's an organization that helps villages in third world countries get
I see.
clean water. But
Good.
I always say, like I talk about, our belief is that every human being is deserving of fresh, clean water, and will
Yes.
support these organizations. People want to hear that, and so when you go live and you can show passion about your product, that'll stir up some business. Okay, that'll stir up some sales for you. People want to hear about the brand, not just see or not just have another influencer talk about it.
Pitching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there, like you just asked, how much should I
Yeah.
be going live? Well, now this switches to building your brand community,
Mm.
and building your brand community, as we all know, Amazon loves it, right? Amazon, this is what Amazon wants to do ever since Nike said, I'm out of here, because they
Yeah.
couldn't build a brand community.
Yeah.
So starts with first of all, it starts with as simple as building your brand story. Know who you are. Okay,
Mm.
if you don't know who you are, figure that out. Why
Yeah.
are you there? Why are you passionate? Build an avatar, or just start to understand your brand. And once you do that, you build out your brand story that you can publish on your A+ pages. That's a starting point. The second thing that you can do is start to build that look and the feel and the consistency of your brand, either in the videos. And by the way, here is the gold nugget.
Okay.
If
I
you
see.
don't put a video, so I get a ton of people, because we've done this, we're doing this
Yeah.
stupid influencer challenge, right? So
I
I've
know.
got like 350 different products here that
Yeah.
I'm
I
doing
can
for
see a few
people.
behind you.
Oh yeah, and I got like instant coffee, and I have a
You don't
vacuum.
need to go to the supermarket anymore now.
No, I don't have to do that anymore. But this is a challenge, and we'll get into that because these are the results that I found from this. But anyways, building out your consistency of the brand, that is all part of going live, because influencers are going to see that you're real. An influencer has a reputation, most,
Hmm.
and they want to keep that reputation. And by them seeing that you have a real brand and you have a video on your product listing or a website that's consistent, that's big news. But here's the gold nugget. I get all sorts of products that are being sent on a daily basis to me. I go and I go on Amazon Live for them, and then I'll do a shoppable video. I
Hmm.
can't do a shoppable video for them if they don't have a single video on their website. So if they don't put, at least at the time of this recording, if they don't have one video on their seventh slot, okay, well, like your seventh slot, your seventh image that you see when you go to your product listing, you can have up to 3 videos, at least
Mhm.
at this time. Um, no influencer, none, can put any videos on your website. Now, we don't have a choice. So I'll create a shoppable video. Okay, just so you understand how it's done, or
Yeah.
your listeners understand this,
Yeah.
is that I'll do a video for somebody, and
Okay.
then I'll upload it to my influencer account, my creators hub.
That's right.
Amazon's algorithm is going to pick it up and say, oh, this is relevant for this product listing. I'll put
Mhm.
you under a contributor. Okay. So when you click on that seventh image, you'll actually see 3 to 6
Yeah.
influencers that automatically show up there. Now, why do influencers do that? Because they get paid. Okay.
Mhm.
If somebody watches that video, and you're responsible for the sale,
Yeah.
the influencer gets paid. So
Yeah.
that's an incentive. Now, the one below, you'll see, and you'll say, Norm, you're wrong. It's under
Mm.
related videos. Well, that's correct. You will go under related videos as well. But if you want to be on the product listing when somebody clicks on it, and you get a better chance for people to see uh, your your product in the view of an influencer, you
Mhm.
need that 30-second. Go to Animoto, go to Canva, put up
Yeah, very easy.
something.
Yeah.
It's so easy, and then you're eligible. uh, Switching over to the influencer side. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is so confusing. Oh my gosh, Vincenzo, I don't know. This is typical Amazon. So
Yeah.
you want to become an influencer, okay? And let's say that you want to do this, or you uh, you want to do it even as a side hustle.
Yeah.
So you want to become this influencer. Well, what do you have to do? Well, you join the influencer program.
Yeah.
No, nope. You have to go over and join the Amazon Associates program. But before that, you have to have a social following. Okay, but what
Mhm.
happens? Like, I'm a podcaster on the other side of the fence. I I might be an influencer for sellers, or for Amazon sellers, but not for buyers.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't have that. I had zero followers. So what do you have to do? Well, we were lucky enough we could do a shout out to our audience, and they were able to give us a little bit of a following to get
Nice.
the account approved. But you can buy an account. So you can
Mm,
go
interesting.
over like Flippa, or there's a lot of places out there. You can buy an Instagram account, switch it over to your brand, and now you're off to the races. Okay, now you have to go over and get approved for the influencer side,
Yeah.
and then to do these shoppable videos. They don't tell you this. I found out way later that I had two accounts. I was always wondering, what are these two accounts? Well, the second account is for your influencer hub, but if you want to make money, you have to upload 3 videos. And
Yeah.
they really don't tell you the
It's
guidelines.
very vague. It's
It
vague. Yeah.
and
Mm,
a lot of people get denied because they try to do too much. So here's the secret. Okay, the secret to being approved as an influencer in the Creator Hub: keep it really basic, 30 to
mm,
45 seconds. The longer you talk, the chances that they'll cancel, and only 3 videos until the approval. I've talked to
mm.
people. One of my buddies, he like, what? Why did you get this? Well, he put up like 10 to 15 videos, and well, okay, only put up 3. That's what they want. They're asking for 3, and
Yeah.
then they make it too long, or they start talking about, oh, go and check out the listing. Don't ever say that. You can say the reason why you bought it. So I am talking about X. This is the reason why I bought it. Here are some of the benefits, and that's it. Shut up.
That's it. That's it. Straight to the point.
Once you get approved, you can play around with it, but just
Yeah.
shut up after 30 seconds. You don't have to go on. And for the most part, for me, I never showed my face.
Mm, okay.
I
So
went.
it was just your voice, or how you were doing this. Ah, the beer.
I
Interesting.
only like I would put up where, let's see. Okay, this wallet. Okay. So I
Yeah.
would just come in, and it would be completely black room with orange lights. And
Wow.
now you'll know who it is if you ever
Yeah.
see any of these. But all I do is I just point at it and I say, today I'm talking about blah, 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 blah. And I
Ah,
just showed that I didn't even show my face, which is probably a good thing. I got a face for radio. But
interesting.
that's one of those things, if you're going to go on that side of the fence. But
Yeah.
let's go back. So the original question before I went down that rabbit hole was how much posting. So
Yeah.
get those videos up there, get the influencers starting to promote you,
Yeah.
so you don't have to do all this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to get an agreement, or work it out with the
Yeah.
influencer that you have
I wanted
access
to ask
to
you
it.
this, like the agreement. How does it work and all of that? Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the influencer and depending on the platform, with TikTok, if you want to go that route, is pretty easy. So all you have to do, it's called Sparks, and you
Okay.
can use the influencer's information or video or content, and you can promote it. Now you can go one step further, is you can talk with the influencer and have an agreement that either the transfer of or the use of the commercial use of their product, or assets, can be transferred over to you.
Okay.
Or you might pay a commercial license to the person. So I know one influencer that I work with. They're very inexpensive. So they're about $100. They're a micro influencer, so around 100,000 followers. And they said, if you want to use this on YouTube or any other, like for repurposing, it's $500.
I
So
see.
you pay
Okay.
the extra. And each influencer is different. I can tell you, before you transfer the copyright or even
Mm-hmm.
working with an influencer, make sure they're real.
Important. Yeah.
There are a ton. I'm telling you, there's a ton of fake influencers out there that just buy follows.
Yeah, or fake accounts that had hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're dormant. They have no engagement, no nothing.
None, and
Yeah.
that's how you find out. If you take a look at it and you can see if there's any engagement, is it emoji, 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 awesome, a one word, two word, see what the account looks like. But once you start doing that with the on the commercial side, then you can
Mhm.
start repurposing it, and that's awesome. But
Yeah.
if you don't do that, and I can tell you that a lot of these influencers, especially if they start to get bigger and they start to see that you're using their account, first of all, it's unethical. Secondly, you could have a lawsuit on your hand and it'll cost you way more,
Then pay. Yeah.
way more.
Yeah.
And just say it's 500. Uh, I you could easily, because the influencer doesn't want to get into any of the into
Mm.
major court, right, into major lawsuits.
Yeah.
They'll just go to small claims court.
Yeah. By the way, have you heard of something? Because I know this is something that some people are doing with influencer marketing, rather than paying a flat fee, maybe doing a share of the sales that this influencer might bring. Like, for example, now you have attribution, so you could potentially track some of the traffic they bring. You also have the referral 10% bonus that you could potentially split it. So what are some of the maybe potential hybrid approach we could bring to the table? Like, instead of paying just a flat fee, maybe doing something along the lines with doing something with a revenue split or something like that. Have you heard of that? And have you
Yeah,
done it? Yeah.
this is actually some things that we found. So
Hmm.
by uh, doing this experiment, so this 0 to 100,000 follower challenge that my son and I have taken on,
Hmm.
he challenged me on. I should never
That's
accept it.
good. Challenges are good.
But it was great because now I got to see the side of the influencer, which I never knew. I
Mm,
never would have ever thought that, first of all, how difficult it was, and second of all, just all the moving parts. So now I can talk to Amazon accounts about that. I feel fairly confident in what I tell people. And one of the things that we found out was the compensation. So we when we started out, I can tell you our formula was that,
mm.
okay, we'll go live. And what does he have now? Just one second. What do you got in your mouth?
Another suck.
Oh, no, no. Oh, good. Nothing. He's just okay. So, anyways, what was I saying? What was I just saying? Uh,
So
oh,
you're talking about the challenge on going to
got
100K,
it.
and yeah. Hmm.
All right. So the way that we started it off, and a lot of influencers will do it, is okay. We'll do your Amazon Live for you, and we'll do a shoppable video for you. We'll throw you
Hmm.
onto our social networks. That won't cost you a penny. So you waive the production cost, and that
Okay.
production cost can be up there. It could be a few $100. It could be
Mhm.
$1,000,
Yeah.
but we'll waive that. So that's one business model. Where is the compensation? Compensation for the influencer is that if they sell anything on Amazon Live, or if they sell anything through their shoppables, they get compensated by Amazon. They get a small affiliate
Mhm.
commission. We decided that it just wasn't worth it. The
Yeah.
small affiliate commission
It's
means
small. Yeah.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
small. They've cut it way back. So we charged a simple 10%. We said,
Mm.
look, we'll do it. You don't have to worry about anything. So
Hmm.
we'll take care of it. All we say is that once we get over $50, okay, and that could take in some products, it and I'm talking about Amazon's, like they might give us 30 cents,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah. Nothing.
They might give us 30 cents, but we wait till we get to about $50 worth of commissions, and then we'll send an invoice for 10% of the gross sale. That's
Oh,
one way of
interesting.
doing it. The other
Okay.
way of doing it is really joining forces and working it together. So you get the product. And by the way, for anybody who's worth their weight in influencer marketing, first of all, don't do a form email. That's the first way to
Yeah.
go into the trash. Second
Yes.
of all, if you think that somebody who's got, I think of my friend, our friend, Gracie Ryback, where she really doesn't have to do anything, right? She's got to that point where she's very successful. It's got like millions of followers,
Yeah.
and people think that, and this is all entrepreneurial ego. Oh, I'm going to give you my bottled water,
For
and
free.
you're going to do. Forget it. That doesn't
Yeah. Okay.
work. You
No
know,
point.
there's going to
Yeah.
be compensation, and the influencer route is the best way to go because you're not paying for social, you're not paying for external traffic, you're paying for a specific amount going to that influencer.
Yeah.
And
And then
10%
that's content that stays there forever, which I think that's the beauty
forever.
of this. Yeah. Evergreen content, especially with the lives. I think maybe uh, you didn't mention this, but some of the lives, if you only do it for one product, that also goes to a pro listing. So that's also extra content. The video stays there. So,
Yep.
and
And
it
you can
stays on the
download it.
profile.
You can
So, yeah,
download it, you can splice it, dice it, do whatever you want with it,
it's like,
and
yeah.
it's perfect for repurposing. So the other way of going into the marketplace and hiring an influencer is kind of working with that influencer and then signing off so you get it and you pay that extra fee. So that could be the other compensation that they get,
Okay.
or it's just a custom, a hybrid where you do both. That you pay, or sorry, I already talked about the hybrid, but then you can pay a flat fee. I want you to do this, and then you pay X number of dollars for it, and then you
Mhm.
own it all, and you can do what you want with it.
Well,
Which I
yeah.
like the hybrid better. I like being able to
Yeah.
commit to it, do it. And if it sells on Amazon, I get a small affiliation fee, so affiliate fee, and then
If it goes
secondly,
over.
the
Yeah.
10%. And and there is a last one. And by the way, so my son and I started doing this, and when I started to do this, all of a sudden, and I'm under 10,000 followers. Okay. So I'm a nano
Yeah.
influencer
Okay.
for Amazon. Okay. And we've, uh, I've, first of all, it's consistent. You get it on a repeat basis. So if you're doing this on your own, second of all, sponsorship, all of a sudden, like I got right here. Okay.
Wow.
I'm a
Okay.
remote vacuum.
Okay.
Okay. The OKP L1 series remote vacuum. I can tell you everything about this vacuum.
You're the
But
expert.
they sent us two of them, and they also paid us a pretty penny. And during that month, we had 3 brands reach out. So then Kelsey decided that, and if you want to check out, Kelsey's doing a really great job
Yeah,
on
I know.
TikTok.
Yeah.
So he's consistently selling, and now I think he said this month we had 15 brands reach out to
Wow.
pay us.
Crazy.
So you
Wow.
you start to make money that way as well. So think of reaching out and to a TikTok influencer. Like all we're talking about right now is an influencer on Amazon, but
Yeah.
you can reach out through TikTok,
Yeah.
through
So many
Instagram,
avenues.
through,
Yeah.
yeah, and it doesn't have to even be in a video. It could be images, and then those images go up into Amazon posts, which get people to follow.
Hmm.
The I don't know if you know this, but your customer experience, during with your customer experience, did you know that anybody who follows you gets that email? The top 25 people, like highly, the most highest, what am I trying to say? The people who pay the most in your
Okay.
account,
Yeah.
25% get the email.
Yeah.
The 20% most recent get the email. So
Email.
if you create a promotion within the if your brand registry, you can go customer experience, and you can
Yeah.
do a 10% of
To
product
your
launch,
followers. Hmm.
all to your followers. and even these new people can come back and
Yeah.
start following. But
Yeah. Which imagine, I mean, you could even use that for launching new products, so
that's
many
what,
other
yeah,
things. Like
absolutely.
that's the power that most people don't have on Amazon. That's why you start having the extra edge that we're talking, and that's power of branding, which is the very beginning we've been talking about.
Yeah. And another just a little hint here
Yeah.
that I learned, and it was I forget who learned. I always like to tell the people I learned it from,
Yeah.
but I forget. But on your banner in your store, you have
Mhm.
the follow button
That's
in
right.
there, right? But you
Yeah.
want people to click it. Well, run a Facebook campaign or run an external traffic campaign over to your store and or to your brand feed, and in the banner, big red arrow with the follow. Click follow.
Interesting. Very good. Yeah.
Now you're going to get more and more people, especially if it's like for pet products, baby
Yeah.
products,
And
whatever
then
it
you can
is.
retarget them with the campaigns we are just talking. Yeah. Of course.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I think that's why I love these conversations and having people like you, because I think now right now in Amazon, to succeed you need to think outside the box. And just this conversation alone, we're talking about so many strategies that I can guarantee you that maybe less than 10% of people on Amazon are doing right now. And that's where I think really set you apart from the competition. I think is super important. And I love that the fact that you keep putting a lot of content. You do actually the influencer market. You're doing it yourself to actually show the results, which is what actually proves the concept. And I think to at the end of the day, it's all about testing, because I think the issue with influencer marketing and external traffic specifically is that people is used to the Amazon bubble mindset that with PPC you get instant gratification. You put a keyword, you get a click, you get a sell, and that's okay. This is working, this is not working. But with influencer marketing, I think it takes a little bit more time, and
Right.
you're showing that basically with your journey, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Split testing is everything. Well, if you just check out like the some of the stuff that we've done, and you'll see that just like when you put out an Amazon post, and if you don't monitor it, then you'll never
Mm-hmm.
know. But we can see on TikTok, all of a sudden, last month we had 2 viral videos. Hopefully, we have more this
Mm-hmm.
month. But one of the things that we did went to it's 260,000 views. 200 and just over 200 was within 24 hours. And
Mm-hmm.
then we did another one at about 100. I think it's at 160,000 now. And those products reap the benefit, but trying to implement that and do it over and over again, it's hard to do. I don't know why the algorithm picked it up. We try to repeat it, but for the regular ones, all we're doing, if you go over there, we're split testing
Yeah.
everything you're supposed to do with your product. And if you consistently do that, even if you're doing this on your own, or asking the influencers that you're working with to do something a little bit different, or maybe they have ideas to do it differently, uh, that pays in the long run. And this is not a sprint. This
Yeah.
is a long run play.
Super
And
important.
the amount of user generated content that you can get from this. So I
Yeah.
don't know about you. I've always heard, and I've always loved the post program from day one, but
Yeah.
3 to 5 times a day. Well, where do you get that content?
Yeah, from those things.
Yeah,
From the videos, yeah, I knew it.
exactly.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day is that, I mean, it's all about understanding that this is first of all about repetition. Second thing, split testing. And the third thing is like we need to have patience in terms of
Right.
influencer marketing, external traffic is all about building the brand. And I think the game here in Amazon is to focus on the play that nowadays, and we see that even with aggregators and all of that, people is focusing on really the brand side of things on Amazon. I think the days of only trying to make revenue and only focus on that tiny profits are over. It's all about now building the community, being that basically customer journey. And I think with influencer marketing, and external traffic, as we've been talking on this episode, you can definitely, first of all, add that to your current product lineup that most people is not doing. And the second thing is that long term, you're gonna have most likely a much better multiple, which I know most of the people when they start on Amazon, that's what they're aiming for. That compared to if you don't have any branding or anything like this, which is, I think at the end of the day, community nowadays is king, and if you don't have that, you're gonna struggle. So I think that's definitely the conclusion we can do on today's podcast.
I do want to say one other thing. When
Yeah.
you're working with a influencer, and you just mentioned the word multiple, you can. This is an area where you can target. I was doing these. Where are they? Oh, I put them all
Hmm.
back over there. I was doing these really kind of cool little cubes the
Mm,
other day,
okay.
and there were the one cube was like $30. Okay, that's fine, but I could promote 2 cubes, 3 cubes, and 4 cubes. And you could do this with any product, with any influencer, even yourself, is you could start targeting your variations with multiple packs. And
Mm,
this is an underutilized area that people are not using. But we've noticed that if you can, and you can get the influencer to target, because you have all these different claim codes that you can put
yeah.
in to the episode. Well, what happens if it's a complete collection of knives, okay, instead
Mhm.
of one knife? And you'll start to see that, oh, people are, because you're getting it at a bit of a discount, or usually on a live, you'll get a good discount.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
but now you have multiple sales. And that's always great when you take a look. If you go into your back end, you go to the reports and you see the amount of units sold, you'll
Mhm.
see that it is like 1.01, 1.1. All of those, Amazon loves multiple sales. And if you can increase that, then that's going to be better for you as a seller.
Very good tip. Thank you very much, Norma. I always appreciate those, gold nuggets. And now I want to start concluding the episode, and for that I want you to take a couple of minutes so you can tell us a little bit more, just to understand how people can reach out to you in terms of your companies, what you're doing with this influencer program, because I'm sure now a lot of sellers are thinking, okay, I want Norm to put his beer in front of my product and promote it. So tell me a little bit about how people can get in touch with you and leverage this that you're doing. Yeah.
Sure. So, first of all, podcast is Lunch with Norm.
Yeah.
It's live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I was just mentioning to you that September 29th is a big day for us, a big
Yeah.
day for every guest that has been on. It's our 500th episode. So, we're just thanking everybody who's come on to the
Yeah.
podcast, and anybody wants to listen. It's on September 29th. As for the influencer marketing, anybody want to get a hold of us, it's pretty easy. You could either just find me on social, or Lunch with Norm Deals.
Wow.
And that's all of our social, LWN Deals. Or just uh, you could send me an email at norm at uh, what is it? Oh yeah, norm at, I got a lot of emails.
That's fine.
Norm at AMZ, like Amazon,
Mm,
AMZ.club. The last promotion I want to talk about is I have a shipping company, or I have a logistics company,
nice.
and we've never talked about this, but this is something that Afalabi and I are doing. You know
Mm.
Afalabi.
Yeah.
Um, we have something called Tariff Terminator.
Mm,
And we found that 80% of Amazon sellers are paying way too much in
yeah.
HTS codes. Those are the
Uh,
taxes that you pay when you bring
always. Yeah.
product in. And we have something called this tariff terminator. It costs you nothing, it costs zero. If we find you a better uh, tax code, then we charge you, and that charge is $500. But if you let us know that you came in from this podcast, we'll take $100 off of that. And just recently, just literally, Kevin King asked me the other day about it, and I told him that, yeah, we just saved somebody $17,000.
Wow. Crazy.
You know, and this was an experienced seller.
Yeah.
But people just don't realize this. We do this, we deal with this on a day in and day out. You'll get a full report. The report itself is worth at least that, but you'll immediately be able to utilize the code that we give you to save money. And it costs you nothing. If we can't save you money, you don't get it. That's the only pitch you'll ever hear me say on a podcast.
Wow. I mean, to be honest, it's an amazing thing. And even for myself and some of my clients, I'm sure this is going to be so useful. So I'm going to make sure to all the listeners and viewers to put all the description, everything in the description, like the links and everything, so people can find that. And as well, all your contact information so that you can reach out and basically make sure their product can be in front of your beer.
Very good. Add to my 350 products I'm shooting.
Let's do it. Okay, Norm, and it's a pleasure to have you here. I know I always grateful for all the knowledge that you bring on board, and looking forward to actually see you in, I think, 2 weeks time in New York. So I'm sure we're gonna be a ton of fun in New York. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be on another panel together.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Have a nice one.
All right. Thanks a
See
lot.
ya. Bye bye.